It is 2023, and since you already have my goals for 2023, I figured we should kick off the next video something a little light, something different.
Something I generally
try to avoid.
An Authortube tag. So I'm going to go over the Authortube Practice and Theory Tag. Before we begin, don't forget you can download my free Excel word count trackers. Like, subscribe. Let's get started. All the questions for this Authortube tag will be down below in the description. So if you decide you want to do this tag as well, you can, and you have the questions. I didn't modify one, maybe two questions because a few of them I just don't do. So I just
modify them
so I could at least answer it. Or this would have been a very, very short video. Poetry? Write a poem? I don't. I mean, I used to, but let's put it this way. My poetry was very, very generic. If it didn't rhyme, it wasn't poetry to me. I know there's different versions of poetry out there, but that's how it was for me. But I've since given up on that. I don't write short stories. Never have. Never will. Not really. I just write too much or think too big to do a short story. So I'm going to change this question to, how do I normally start a short story - novella? Because I do plan to write some novellas in the future. I have a few in mind. When it comes to how I come up with a novella, it really comes down to what has happened more recently. When I come up with a new idea for a story, I kind of look at it like, okay, could this be a novel, a series,
or shorter?
Normally, in the past, I would have been like, obviously, this is a novel, because I don't write anything other than novels and series. But more recently, in the last several years, this has changed. I have felt like I can come up with ideas for a novella because we're working within 50,000 words. So they can be longer form novellas. So it really comes down to the idea, do I feel like I really want to flesh this out into something bigger? Because I have a lot on my plate I'm already trying to do. Fleshing another story out to a novel length is a lot of work. Whereas if I keep a story that's cool and interesting, but to a novella length, it's not as much work.
There's still a lot of work that goes in, but nowhere like fleshing out to a novel or another series.
So it really comes down to that. I do plan on using novellas to help flesh out the Shattered World arc of the Ethereal Records series. Because there's a lot of stuff going on there, but to have a series and all these different things going on, it's going to make it too much for me to complete at all. But having a novella, a short form story that can help flesh out other areas that I haven't have time to really advance, but these characters can show up in other stories, great way. How I normally start a novel is once I know it's a novel, I start planning for it. For the most part, when it becomes a novel, it ends up turning into a series. Not so much anymore because I have several standalone novels planned. I know I want and need to be standalone, but once I know it's going to be a novel, I look for the end, because I need to know the end, I need to know where I'm going, and a good intro or starting point for the book. I need those two things before I can really start mapping out the novel. Because as everyone knows, I'm a planner. I need to know everything I can about the story before I can write it.
I wish so bad I could be a pantser, but I can't.
When it comes to strategy, in the past,
No.
I didn't have one. I was so focused on trying to get something written so I could get published, there was no real strategy. The closest thing you could say I had to a strategy was, here's my series I'm working on. I'm going to burn my brain out developing it, take a break, work on something else. After that I burn my brain out on that one. This one should be ready. Come back, burn my brain out again, continue development, continue that process. That was the early stages of my writing career. But now I do have a better strategy. And it's actually a strategy instead of a coincidental thing I just stumbled upon in the past. When I would burn my brain out on a project back when I was beginning and work on something else, it gave me the time necessary to my brain to process stuff. I'm taking that and actually putting into place. I don't want to burn my brain out on a project because it's not good. It takes far longer to develop a project. Well, if I get to a point where I do need time, I have other things I can go work on while that stuff is working out in the back. This also ties directly in to the core of my strategy, which is
The board!
Yes, the board is a huge part of my strategy now. Having stuff up there so I'm constantly seeing them is part of it because it's helping reinforce stuff in my brain so when I come back to those projects, I can make connections and I can work on them. Both. I do paper and computer for my plotting. I do a lot of stuff on notebooks and pads of paper. So much. I love them.
Hold on a second.
See? And that's just a small portion of what I have for notebooks and pads. Yeah, I have a problem, but I love it. I think there's an actual photo on my Instagram of closer to what I have. That's probably changed by now. But yeah, I do a lot of planning, development, just writing thoughts out, brainstorming on notepads. The computer comes in when I get more directly into plotting of the novel or the series. And I used to do this in the plotting in Scrivener a lot with the note cards and everything. I have some very bad experiences with the Scrivener. Not because Scrivener is a bad program, just because it made it so much easier when I was in the rush mode to just try to get something done and out of the way, that I have a feeling if I try to do it in Scrivener right now, that will happen again. I'll end up rushing through stuff, and I don't want to do that. I have found that using Excel in plotting is better for me, and then taking what I have from there and placing in the cards for when I'm getting ready to write Cosmere.
Duh.
Simple. It would be the Cosmere because I think it's awesome, but it's still, that's what I would claim. Yes. Yes, I do. And you can watch this video or this video. I don't necessarily go into how I form my goals. You can get an idea. It's really what I'm trying to accomplish at the time. And I try to accomplish a lot.
Way more than I probably should in the past.
But when it comes down to goal setting, okay, I really look at it from the start of the year. What do I want to accomplish this year? And I look at different things and I try to base it on how much time I'm going to have. Very realistic. You have to make a list of everything you want and then go like, nope, nope, nope. For example, I want that I must write the 0 draft for Truthsayer this year. I'm also hoping to write the first draft, prose and everything. Nothing. I hate literature. You will ever consider it. And nothing I will ever write will win me the Nobel Prize in literature. I'm not going to answer this question. Nothing would get me it. I'm not answering it. Again, I'm not going to win that. I'll answer it as if somehow I became a millionaire. Where would I live? I would live probably in California, somewhere in San Diego. Weather there is like perfect year round. Probably drive a Tesla Roadster because that car looks awesome. Yeah, that's probably where I would live and what I would drive if I was a millionaire. Okay, so if I was in writer heaven, who would be my writers group? Brando Sando. Done. You knew that was coming. Had to be. His magic system, his world building. Evan Winters. Great prose, great capture of character. Rebecca Kwan. Again, character and development of the worlds is awesome for her. But also because she apparently is more of a pantser than an outliner. So I think she could help. Picking her brains, how she goes about that could help me. Daniel Green. Just because I follow his videos and we share their last name, so I should probably put him on the list. And then finally, Andrea Stewart. The Bone Shard Daughter. She's one of my new favorite authors. So there you go. That is Authortube Practices Theory Tag. And the question is, are you going to do it as well? The questions, again, are down below, so you can answer them if you choose to. Don't forget you can download my free Excel word count trackers. If you enjoyed this video, why not smash that like button and subscribe? What should you do with your nano novel? Simple. Click the video way over there to get my 4 suggestions on what you can do. And I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Bye.